The garments and the figures' faces were also painted to suit tastes of the period. In addition, the successive layers of varnish had yellowed. The cleaning undertaken during the restoration returned the sky to its near original aspect. And over the entire surface of the canvas, the purity of Veronese's colors was refreshed. After these steps, the 3 panels were assembled and glued onto a canvas backing, but allowing for space between the sections for that which was lost when the canvas was cut and crudely repaired in the 17th century. 8 centimeters on the left and 5 centimeters on the right. These spaces were able to be repainted according to copies and etchings made before the fire. For instance, this highly contrasted photograph shows that 2 torn edges of the canvas were fitted together haphazardly, reducing the size of the chef's arm. By spreading the panels of canvas, the exact proportions were restored. The same occurred with the seam that cut across the buffoon. Previous restoration had made a bird's head extend from the collar of the figure. Since the last restoration, the scene now appears as it did originally. The restorers were also able to retrieve the edges of the canvas that had been folded into the stretcher for lack of space in the museum. 9 centimeters on the right and 8 centimeters on the left. For many years we had been admiring a shrunken, faded, yellowed feast in the house of Levi, deprived of its true colors. We can now see the canvas as Veronese painted it. Veronese has become a household name for the public at large, referring to a color, ill-defined at that. The decisive influence the artist exerted on modern sensibility to color through artists such as Tiepolo, Fragonard, Delacroix and Renoir may have long been underestimated. The man's life remains obscure, but he left behind an impressive body of work. Frescoes in the Villa Barbaro at Massa near Treviso, where Veronese experimented in trompe-l'oeil and practiced impressionist painting 3 centuries before its time. Paintings that he worked on his whole life long in the church of San Sebastiano, where the artist is buried. Paintings in the Doge's palace, where he decorated several rooms at various stages in his career. Lastly, several canvases that 17th century collectors haggled over for astronomical prices. Executed at the height of his immense production, the feast in the house of Levi remains enigmatic. What is Judas looking at? What is Levi looking at? What is St. Peter thinking about? What could the figure in green, perhaps Veronese, possibly mean? That a reflection is only a dash of white against a colored area. In other words, that all art is an illusion, indeed an illusion of illusion. Or that the true master of the house is not always who we think. With the Renaissance drawing to a close, The figure of Christ still occupies the center of the painting, as classical rules would dictate. But he has already dropped into the background. The painter himself occupies the forefront of the scene.